Trust in your magic is the beginning of the second slide. It's so powerful, as I always said. Be willing to stretch yourself and branch out into different mediums of creativity today. As I said, it's always wild when I read these because it's just like I got another app, the Daily Horoscope, which was the first app I had before this one, but I called it the God app because no matter what happens when I wake up and I read it, it is already in tune with the energy and the things that I think of. If I ever was to think of into the future, it sends those things. It does exactly and says exactly. It's not like oh, I was hoping to read this. It's like oh, who put the plan in my brain and then put the answers in the app, like y'all wild. And so it feels the same with the pattern though, and that's why I love it. It's so authentic, and all that it really keeps reiterating to us is authenticity. And you guys know I love authenticity. You know I love talking about integrity and what it actually means and the reason why those things persist. The other day I was thinking about institutions and I was thinking about my philosophy class. I always mention Dr. Green for multiple classes, existentialism and some of the other classes we took, including reading the Van Gogh letters, which I'm going to do some courses on that. Authenticity, I strayed off for a quick second. Oh, what about the authenticity? Institutions. And he was one that really hit on this point of all institutions will fail and fall, actually, will fall because the basis of which they stand upon, their foundation, is actually fake. And that only makes sense if we are in what is real. So projections last as long as that vision is held, correct? But if a projection is based on a specific foundation, let's say let's say, free in a specific place, but we are all not really free in that way. If everything else is built on top of that, let's say society, then at some point when too many people realize or bring their awareness outside of the level of the matrix that contains that false projection, then we start to see, oh, all of this is actually BS. And so everything has to start crumbling in upon that until it's recycle time. And that's how out of the ash comes the new, the rising phoenix. Because in this example of, or this explanation of the reason why institutions will fall, it is because that which it is stated it isn't, or it does not uphold to. So that thought just really came into me. It really came as a somewhat of a download and made me want to go over that again and actually make a whole video on that. But you know, we got a whole bunch of ideas and we're trying to go and key in. So trust in your magic, be willing to stretch yourself and branch out into different mediums of creativity today. And that can mean, and so you may think of, oh, you're an artist, that must mean like it, and you're a digital artist, all of the modes that you're gonna do, that is, okay, graphic, and then maybe this kind, like maybe let me do, no, it may be hands-on, like let me go and craft something, or let me go and musically just put on some headphones, go lay out in a field and get in tune with what is in that kind of way. All of these different experiences are meant to give us creativity in a way that the other does not, and enhances the other. If we actually open our awareness, then it creates something whole new, and that's beautiful. So intention. There's an influence encouraging you to access your own unique way of creating. The intention is to help you connect with yourself in a deeper way and to increase your faith in your purpose. Wild. The pattern, like I said, pattern don't lie. It's the God app number 2. I want to give it number 1, but this is exactly that. This is something that I've always wanted to do and been able to, or wish to be able to give something that was unique and authentic to self, but in a way that could help others and fit within my, as I explained in the Life Path episode, still fit within the dichotomy of my life purpose between psychology and esotericism or spirituality and really self-optimization. And this is my child. So that's why it's so beautiful to really look at. Sometimes you do need to stop and think of where you were, and you may go, whoa, it took me way too long to do this, but it's like, now you're doing this, and now you know not to take that long to do that. So it took me this long to actually write that book, that like one of the books that I wanted to, and I always mention that just for myself and as a great reminder, like, oh, that was okay, like 10 years ago. Dang, it took that, okay, but now, and then it took 10 to do this. Cool, it ain't gonna take 10 to do the next one, and it ain't gonna take 10, you understand? And so that's actually learning. Like, that may have been an L depending on how you want to look at it, but if you win from it, it definitely can be an L, and then it only progresses you further as you really let it sink in and you integrate it consciously. And the less that you do it consciously, it will literally subconsciously just keep doing this and seeming to be coincidence or fate, I think, as Carl Jung said. So I love that. That's the intention and trusting talent. And again, keeping in mind the pattern. How is this actually laid out to actually create a better me in the whole thing? And so from going from trusting our talent again into trusting our talent into accessing your passion, and back and finally into confidence and courage. And it's not a finally, because of course there's going to be another pattern after that one. This is just in the 3 set that this one ends. Confidence and courage ends on the 12th. So of course it's going to be another pattern, like I said, but in this 3 set and taking life in doses like that, in the day at a time kind of way, so that we can start to see, like I just said, oh man, 4 years ago, I never could have been on camera. 1 year ago, I never could have been on camera because I was busy taking the photos, because I wasn't wanting to be in the front. And it can be like that for anybody and any kind of thing that you are doing. You may have been like, oh, 3 years ago, like, I'm a pure scientist. 2 years ago, I could have never been talking about OBEs and near-death experiences. But now my whole research is focused on that and focused on a personal experience of it, And so it's amazing what happens when, I always like to bring up Les Brown, what happens when we start to see ourselves in a different light and start to open ourselves to the possibilities and capabilities of new skills, new thoughts, and a new being. And so it's just beautiful. So the next slide after the intention is, so we got 6 slides. This is slide 4. It's important to avoid comparing your process to anything outside of yourself. I can go forever on that, so let me just finish it off, because this can influence the purity of your visions. Wow, maybe I shouldn't have, and I should have just taken the time to go into both of those. That first one, it's important to avoid comparing your process to anything outside of yourself, is so important. Like, every word I could really dissect there. We could do an hour video on just that sentence, but to just emphasize the importance so we can get through. People don't understand, if you are strictly comparing, of course comparison is necessary just to understand, get a basis of our surroundings. But once you start to have an inner understanding and an inner awareness, then you should understand that there is no reason to compare. Really, all is unique and all is individual. And so your ability to not compare and just observe, but still understand that you are unique and allow that to grow and develop, and you consciously water that, gives you something so different, something so raw, something so unique, and allows you to tap into your talent because you're trusting it. That's what it means to actually trust, allowing it to develop. And I saw something in a the movie Aware yesterday on Gaia TV. Now I'm just all up in Gaia TV.